Hey, this is Brother Teacher. You may very well want to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. It's not going to set well with some, probably many, and that's this election that's coming up. Will it be Joe Biden, Kamala Harris on the Democratic side of things, or will it be Donald Trump, the standing president as of this video? I believe, I've said it once before, Donald Trump is going to remain the president of the United States. I hear this smear campaign going back and forth from Trump's party, his followers, attacking the Democrats, allegedly. And I also see and hear the Democratic side attacking Trump and his policies, according to Biden, failed policies, and his disenfranchisement of the people who have contracted, supposedly, COVID-19, who have died, and various other things that he alleges that Trump has not done and has done against the American people. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, may I borrow you in your ears for a moment? Now, there's a plethora of people watching me right now, I'm certain, of various ethnic groups, religious and political standings, as it were. I want you to exercise the gray matter that sits between both of your ears called your brains and think. Think for yourselves and don't be persuaded by simply anything that anyone tells you, to include me. But instead, use critical thinking. Some people don't know what that is, but for those of you that do, please use critical thinking. Use science and logic and not simply your feelings. When you make an assertion and a determination about anything, make sure that you have actually gone through the scientific process and said, here's the problem, so what's the solution? An experiment. Now this is my conclusion. I see that this is the outcome based on my research, my analytical studies, as it were, my observation. Now here's what I think. I see this side is saying this. I'm not going to side with them just simply because they said this. I see that this side is saying the opposite of what the other side is saying. I'm not going to side with them just because they say what they're saying. Instead, I stand in the middle. I'm going to pick where truth is, and that's where you're going to find me. That's where you will find me, where truth is, wherever truth is. Now, if truth is not on either side, then guess what? I stand alone. Are you willing to be an individual and stand alone? You just watching me right now. Are you standing alone as an individual? Or do you follow every little tide that comes through? Every breeze, you just jump in there and you accept it. I hope not. I hope that you think. One of the lost arts is thinking. We don't think anymore. We just simply follow. If there's a majority that's doing something, we jump on that side because it's the majority. How ignorant that is. It's what you're running on. It's the information that you are putting out and the validity of that same information. So, let me back up and then I'll finish. I'm not voting for Biden, nor am I voting for Donald Trump. It's not going to happen. I'm not. You know why? Nothing is going to change. I just answered it for you. Nothing is going to change. I hear people talking about, oh, you got to get out and vote. Oh, that's why this happened, and that's why we're not getting these benefits, and that's why these things are not coming through, because black people don't vote, because not enough people are voting. That's not true. It doesn't matter whether we vote or not. The status quo remains the same. The policies remain the same. The agendas remain in place and remain the same. It's not going to change anything. Voting is only put in place to give us the appearance that we have something to say about our elected officials. The people who sit behind the doors, the closed doors in the boardrooms on a higher level, they decide who's going to be the president. They decide what's going to happen with media information and what's going to be disseminated to the population. They decide, not the president. He's a figurehead, and that's it. That's all. Just a figurehead. He is there to distract us. He's a great actor, as all of the presidents that have preceded him. Great actors. Trying to make the people think that people's voice means something. Now, when Obama was in office, he bailed out a whole lot of folks. He gave out some benefits to a whole lot of folks. But black people remain the same. Still are in the same condition that we have been in for 400, 500 years. Same condition. When Bush was in office, it was the same. Same rhetoric, same bullcrap, just a different face. When Carter was in, Clinton was in, when Daddy Bush was in, when Nixon was in, it's the same stuff, just rolled all over again, just a different face. That's it. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. They've been pulling tricks on us since day one. It doesn't matter who you vote for. If you're part of the political process and you think, oh, I'm a vote Democrat on that party side, or I'm going to be independent, or I'm going to be on the Republican side, or whatever, it's not going to matter, because the powers that be control who runs the country, and they're really not running the country. Someone behind the curtain is running the country. Big corporate power runs the world. Should I say that again? Bankers, people in high places run the world, to include the United States corporation. The people have no say about any laws that are legislated against or with. We don't have any say so. Whoever we pick and choose, it doesn't matter. It just gives us a warm fuzzy feeling, maybe. But that's it. That's all. Now, as I'm here, before I leave, I'm going to ask all of you black folks out there that's watching me right now, African Americans, if that's what you choose. I'm going to ask all of you, and even our white other half, if you will, what has any president ever run on that they said that they were going to do for the people, and especially for black people, have they ever accomplished? I'll wait. Should we hear the crickets in the back? Wait for them to come and start singing their melody? You will never get an answer. Black people are still the most disenfranchised group of people in America. Hands down. Nothing has changed. We are still looked at as thieves, robbers, rapers, pedophiles, murderers, lazy, procrastinators. Not to say that some of that is not true, but that's how we are perceived, and that is how we are marketed through the media as these bad people, uneducated, filth of the earth. Those smear campaigns have never ceased, and they continue to go on. And every black person that's in any public office, they're just simply there as, excuse my expression, a house Negro. To make the other black folks that's sitting on the outside, who are the working poor and the dirt poor, to make them seem as though somebody has made it. Somebody has pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and they actually are doing something that should make all black people proud. No, there's only a small percentage that will ever be allowed to ride the high places in all of these industries, to include government, local, state, federal. You're only going to see so many black faces ever. Now, once they reach that plateau, these black folks I'm speaking of, in Congress, in the Senate, in the White House when we had Obama, in state government, in local government, city workers and so forth, once they have achieved these positions of presidents and vice presidents and administrators and so forth, once they have reached those plateaus in their lives, they are so happy. They know why they're there. They know what's really going on. I don't believe that you can be black in America and be in a high position of government and not know politics and not know why you're there, how you got there, and how deceptive the system is as it relates to the general populace. The system is as crooked as a winding road. And we say one nation under God. What God are we talking about? The same God that made white supremacists enslave black folks on this continent? Is that the one nation under God you're talking about? My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Liberty for who? Or whom? Black people have never been included. July the 4th was what? Independence Day? Huh? You say we're supposed to be celebrating Independence Day as a nation. Well, let me tell you something. I'm pretty good at math, basic anyway. I'm pretty good with years. 1776, independence. Okay, we maintained our independence here in America. And so we're supposed to be celebrating it every July 4th every year, right? Well, let me tell you something. If that occurred in 1776, there were still slaves. Huh? Did a light bulb just go off in your head? Did you not know this? When did slavery end, supposedly? 1865. So, we had another 100 years as slaves after they declared us as independent, right? But we, the descendants of former slaves, some of us, we're supposed to be melancholy, jubilant about Independence Day. We have never been included in America. Never, ever. Never, ever. Do your homework. See the private prison industrial complex. The private prison industrial complex. See how many black folks are locked up in prison and in jail for petty crimes. But this is the greatest nation on the planet, right? Why are all these people in prison? Why do we have the largest prison population on this planet? We definitely do not have the largest population, but we have the largest prison population of any nation on this planet. Can you say, money, 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 money? There's money in keeping people in prison. Just like there's money in keeping people as residents in a nursing home. You got to keep the beds filled, have to keep the rooms occupied to get those government benefits, those government grants, those cutbacks. Because when you have little residency in a prison, in a nursing home, in a mental institution, guess what? You lose some funding. You lose some money. So you make sure that you keep those prisons full, even if you have to go out and make up some charges on someone, create some crimes, and then create the punishment as a result. This is the answer for the crime that was committed, but you created the crime so that you can keep those rooms, those prisons filled up and keep that money flow coming in. You don't like what I'm saying, do you? I don't care. It's the truth anyway. So, what made this country great? Donald Trump ran on this, his first campaign. Make America great again. This sickens me, what I'm about to say. What I am saying. This sickens me. When we, who have a terrible history as a country, we have a terrible history. We have a bloody history. How we have abused other people in other countries. How we have murdered people in other countries. How we have raped and pillaged other countries throughout our history. Not to mention the very people that lived here that are black on this soil. And we continue to do the same. And we brag about how great of a country we are. Whether or not we're the greatest country on the planet out of all of the other nations is debatable. What aspect are you talking about? Economically? We're trillions of dollars in debt to other countries. That doesn't make us great, does it? Racism is what built this country. This is a racist country at the very core. Look at all of the police shootings of black people over the past 20 years. And recently the death of George Floyd. Institutionalized racism has always existed in America. It was covert, and now it's a little bit more overt, out in the open. Now the gloves are off. They've taken the gloves off. Now they're saying what they really feel. Cops were found talking about murdering as many blacks as they possibly could. You look it up. Not too long ago, a couple months ago, saying they was going to kill as many black people as they possibly could, and they were caught on video making these statements, and they were fired. They should have been in jail, because if the common man, if the everyday average individual on the street made that statement, they would be in jail as I'm speaking. So why didn't they get locked up? Hello? So America has never been great. It's been great for someone, but it hasn't been us. Hasn't been black people. Black people have been in the muck and the mire ever since we have been on this continent. We have been struggling ever since we have been on this continent. We have been denied everything that white people have been privileged to have and receive. And it wasn't because they worked for it. It was given to them by default. And we have remained oppressed. Black folks have. Just to clarify, just in case you know who we was. Make America great again. Oh, there's more jobs since Obama was in office, or the previous president, according to Donald Trump. Jobs for whom? I see poor people all of the time around me who come through my business who are struggling, no job, barely getting jobs, losing jobs, working 2 and 3 jobs, men and women. So what jobs is he talking about? What sector of jobs are we talking about? What category of jobs is he talking about? Most of the black people that I see working in restaurants, factories, Walmart. None of them more higher paid jobs. Barely see any blacks working those that are around me, that I interact with. Don't see it. And I'm only speaking from my perspective, where I am in the region that I'm in. So where are all of these jobs at? There might be more jobs, but there's more black folks without jobs. What about black folks who have felonies? Why can't they work? Some places will hire them, but not many. There are some, but not many. So they get depressed, they feel helpless and hopeless, and they end up on the street slinging, selling drugs, prostituting someone else, gang violence, territory, all kinds of terrible things, all because we are denied the very thing that our white counterparts have been privileged to have. And many of them walk around with their chest stuck out as though they've done something special in their lives. It doesn't mean that none of them hasn't worked hard in their life. It doesn't mean that at all, because there are many white folks who are deserving of what they have. Small business owners, corporations, LLCs, and so forth. But there's a significant amount of the white population that's basically taking the ride that's been afforded them by white supremacy. And whites are in a place of power. Blacks are taking the brunt of the blows. That's the reality of the day. So I want you to, listening to me right now, rant on. Are you voting? I'm not telling you not to vote. I'm not encouraging you not to vote. But remember what I said at the beginning of this video. Use common sense and exercise critical thinking. Are you going to the voting polls or absentee ballot or whatever means or method that you're going to use to get your ballot through? Are you doing it just simply because this is election time? Just because it's a tradition? Just because a significant amount of other people are doing it? Is that your reason? So what stance do you have? What principles are you even standing on when you go to the polls? Does your candidate represent something that's going to benefit the people? Or are they running just to maintain a position of power? You know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Did you not know that? I'm sure you know that once someone gets in office, I don't care what the campaign was and what they were running on their platform, once they get in office, you never hear them talk about your platform anymore. You never hear them talk about your concerns anymore. You never hear them talk about your needs anymore once they're in office. It never happens. It never comes to fruition. But they care about the people, right? No, they care about themselves and power. That's what they care about. And the furtherance of their legacy, pulling their family and this generations right along with them. That's all they care about. I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to put on the best acting job. I can win an Academy Award, an Oscar for acting. I'm going to make these people think that I represent them because the other guy's the bad guy. And they're going to do that on both sides. He's the bad guy. He doesn't care about the American people. Look at the COVID-19 situation. You know, he's caused this many people to die and so forth, and he hasn't been doing anything like he's supposed to be doing on his watch and so forth. He's a terrible president. Back and forth, back and forth. So much vitriol. But guess what? When the smoke clears, what you're standing on, Mr. President, what will you be standing on? Will you be here for the people? Or is that just a put on? Again, I believe, this is me, you can quote me, Donald Trump will remain the president. Someone said years ago, by some hook or crook, he's going to remain the president. That's an old saying, expression. By some hook or crook, he's going to remain the president. And the people in power that sit behind the closed door or the curtain, they're going to ensure that he stays there. Somehow, even if it means that he hurt America even more. I definitely do not see Joe Biden as being a president and a woman, and a Indian/black woman, Kamala Harris, as being a vice president. We got through a black man becoming the president, Barack Obama and his wife, but to have a woman standing alongside a man this election, winning the presidency, it ain't gonna happen. Sounds good. Looks good on paper. Looks good when they make their eloquent speeches, but it's not gonna happen. If I'm wrong, please call me on it. But remember that I told you, Biden, Kamala Harris will not be in office come this November, December 2020. It's not going to happen. Donald J. Trump will still be president of the United States Corporation. Now, are you going to vote? Whatever you do, after you watch this video, feel free to comment. Feel free to give your opinions and your viewpoints. But keep it clean, as I keep it clean with you. Show respect. Be courteous. Don't come on here arguing back and forth with one another, but you can voice your feelings and express your viewpoints. That's fine. That's what it's for. No name calling. Okay? That's how I run my thing. That's how I am. I'm not going to call anyone any names. If I call you a name, it's going to be deserving. It's going to be warranted. It's going to be clean. And it's going to be what and who you really are if I have to go there. It's that simple. Okay? This is Brother Teacher. If you're going to vote, again, it's your prerogative. Do what you feel you must. I'm not trying to influence you either way, but I'm telling you why I'm not voting. Because voting does not benefit the people, and it never has benefited the people, and especially the people that it should benefit the most, who are the most disenfranchised people in America, and that's the black man. That's it, and that's all.